I just started soapUI to demonstrate Pegamento test run, and you can see that here we have a very simple test which simply has one test suite and a test case. And this test, there are only two test steps. One is a SOAP request, which simply addresses this SOAP mock service that I start now, so that it will answer if I start the step itself. And I can run the step and it runs, but I can run the whole test case better, and the test case runs fine. There is no reason to fail. And if I go down here to list runs, which is already an extension to soapUI, this menu, then a new window will pop up, and it says that this test case was executed once. The execution ID is 20, it was assigned to it. This is the current time when it was executed, so it's approximately 20 seconds ago. It was executed by me, it's the logged on user. It's comparable, it's valid, and we have an environment variable set in the project, which says that the environment is Oracle OSP. This is for reference purposes. And this test run was not compared to any other test run, so the number of compares is 0. So I just run it again, and then I can see that now there are two test runs. And if I select these two test runs and say that, okay, let's compare them, then it runs, and you can see that the runs are equal, no surprise. The result itself of the comparison is stored in the database, and for each run there is one compare because they were compared to each other. So if I select one of them and say that list compares, then you can see that there is a comparison, and it's not ignorable. It was okay. If it's not equal, if there is some difference, then reason will tell you what the difference was, if a specific reason can be identified. So it tries to explain to you where the difference is in the responses. And in this comparison, the test runs 20 and 21 were compared against each other. Okay, so this is fine. Let's stop this mock service now, and let's edit this response and say that now we return 4 instead of 3. And we start this mock service, and we start this test case, and then after that we will have a look at what this property transfer is. So we run it again, it's finished, it's okay, and we list the runs, and now we can see that there is a test run number 22, and I will compare it against the previous one. And it says that the test runs differ. No surprise, I changed the response, and this also listed in the database. So let's see that compare, and yes, it says that it's error, you can see here, and there is a reason here. Let's display this, and it's a little bit big for this screen, but let me resize it, and then you can see that envelope body address response return null. So envelope body response return, and the null is actually the text, have different values, 3 versus 4 in test step add. So this is an explanation, and you can see the different responses that were compared. In some cases, actually, you may not be interested in these the actual values. Sometimes you just want to ignore some of the values. For example, timestamp values or correlation IDs are very typical examples that you want to ignore. So you just create a property transfer into the test case, use any name, and you better make it disabled so it never runs, but it contains information for the comparison, and you define a transfer named ignore. You can have many transfers with that name ignore, and in the response we want to ignore actually this value. This is okay. I define that this is now ignorable, and I run this test case again, and let me see this result now, and here we are. We have this result again, and now I compare it against this one. The test run number 21 had the result 3, and now we have the result 4, but in this case, if we compare it, now in 23, we specified that this value, this XPath, the value that matches this XPath, has to be ignored. Therefore, the test runs are treated as equal. Okay, so if I list now the compares, okay, I didn't select anything, so it says that I have to select at least one runs. What one run? I have to select one run for which the lists are, for which the compares are listed. Then you can see that this is okay, and so it's okay. I have here compares which failed, but I say that okay, this was because of a mistake in the testing and not because the tested system failed. So I say that we just ignore this. It's a failure, but in the report we ignore this. So it is ignorable, ignore, even if it's erroneous. And also this run is obsolete because you know, this was the original run, or this one. Let's select just one and say that this is obsolete because we didn't care about this. We compared 21 to 23, so this is okay, and this one was the new system, but the run itself is obsolete because it did not contain the ignore tag. So finally we have two valid runs, and these runs are compared, and we have three compares, and only one of them, the compare of with 23 is okay, and this one is ignorable. So with this we stored everything into the database, and then we can we have the test runs in the database, and we made ad hoc comparisons, but we can also make in batch comparisons from the command line, and we can run reports about the results and the comparisons and everything. So generally this is what soapUI test run adds to Pegamento test run adds to soapUI, this extension, and with this you can easily test services that run on different environments. So you can just see that the environment has changed or not. If the environment is changed, that it did change anything or not, and the service is just run fine.